So, hello everyone. We are back after struggling a lot, let's say. But today we are going to finish this lesson of basic JavaScript, where we are learning the uh, loops, if-else statements, and more. The more part is actually the interesting part, where we are learning the DOM structures. We're on number 84, and we'll finish this today. As of now, we have finished the HTML and CSS of the project, and we have started doing some of the JavaScript over here, where the go to store button is now something that works. If we click on go to store, we are in the store. It says you enter the store, and the button text changes. Now, if we click the buy 10 health button, uh, this also works because it'll add 10 to the health and minus 10 from the gold every time we click. And it also stops at 0. Previously, it used to go beyond 0, and we used the gold used to go to minus 10, minus 20. Now that does not happen. Now, as soon as it hits 0, and if we still continue, it will show that you don't have enough gold. Now it is 10. If I click now, it's 0. If I now click, it will say you do not have enough gold to buy health. So that is what has happened. That is what we have. So you're in the town square, you see a sign that says store. So we have done until this. We haven't designed the cave, or we haven't designed the dragons yet, or the XP, so to speak. So that is what we are going to do today, and we'll finish this project. The value of the current, weapon index variable corresponds to an index of the weapons array. So the player starts with a stick. Hence, current weapon index starts at 0, and weapons 0 is the stick weapon. So in the buy weapon function, use compound assignment to add 1 to current weapon index. The user is buying the next weapon in the weapons array. So we are in the buy weapon function. We are to use compound assignment. We'll go here. First, we'll um, finish this if statement. Then we'll do a compound assignment to add 1. So we'll type current weapon index plus 1 equals, sorry, plus equals 1. I think this goes inside the if function. See what error it throws. I know it will throw some error. Should use compound assignment to add 1 to the current weapon index. We have two T, no? Yeah, I had two T. I did the right thing. It just was spelling mistake as always. Okay, the thing we did was right. It just had a spelling mistake, no other issues whatsoever. So now move on. In the previous project, you learned how to use the increment operator to increase a variable by 1. So we can just do let number equal to 5. If we type num, the variable plus plus, it will increment by 1. Then if we print that, it will print 6. So change your current weapon index assignment to use the increment operator. So we right now we are using compound operator, which is plus equals 1. We can clearly just type in plus plus. That should also work, as we know. Now update the gold text element to display the new value of gold, and update the text element to display you now have a new weapon. So we will update the text element, gold text. If this is a string, the gold text is a string. Uh, right now this is not a string, right? If we go here, gold text inner text was gold, so we should just try gold text inner text. That will do. If I do inner text, yes, now it should work. And the text is text element, so we also should do text dot inner text. Should work. Yeah, it does. So if I now the go to the store and try to buy weapon, we have gold which is above 30. So you now have a weapon, new weapon. That's what it says. For a moment, I thought I heard something, but so we're back. Um, Now you should tell the player what weapon they bought. Yes. So in between the two lines, you just wrote use let to initialize a new variable called new weapon. Because I was also thinking the same thing. Like, how will I know? I know that we now have a new weapon, but what weapon do I have exactly? So set this equals to weapons. This was easy. Um, Now use bracket notation to access an object within the weapons array. Okay. And assign it to new weapon variable. Place the variable current weapon index within the brackets. When you use a variable in bracket notation, you are assessing the property or index by the value of that variable. For example, this code uses the index variable to assess a value of array. Acha, got it. So we are to assign the weapons variable with new weapon variable with the array uh, that corresponds to the current weapon index. So we can just write current weapon index from here, and yeah, that should work because current weapon index is now have been incremented based on this function. So it will keep changing. It will go to 0, 1, 2. But will it go to 0? Was it first initially was it declared as -1? Where is current weapon index? Function buy health, dragon, store, go town, location. Yes, current weapon index, current weapon index is 0. So if I go plus plus on that, it should be 1 now. But weapons of 1 is a different thing. Like if I go to the constant weapons, the 1 is dagger. So we need stick, or is it dagger? We have stick, right? We don't buy stick. We start with stick. So yeah, by that logic, it is correct. The game is started with stick, so we should go to array number 1 only, not 0, right? Now, weapons current weapon index is an object. Use dot notation to get the name property of that object. So we will just go dot name. Now we have the uh, name of the object. Yes. In the previous project, you learned how to work with the concatenation operator to insert variables into a string like this. So constant this yeah. So if we have a constant organization which is a string, we can use plus sign to concatenate the entire string and replace the concatenation thing with the um, variable right here. So update the string. You now have a new weapon too. You now have a dash. So here this new weapon should be something else followed by the name of the weapon, and remember to end the sentence with a period. So we'll just add, and now we have a new weapon variable. Um, Added to full stop. So if I now go to store, buy a new weapon, so we now have a dagger. So back at the beginning of the project, you created the inventory array. If I go at the top, we have inventory array with stick in it. Add the new weapon to the end of the inventory array using the push method. In the previous project, you learned how to work with the push method like this, which is constant variable equal to empty variable. Then we can dot push the new item and it will push it to the end of the array. Since it is empty, it will show as the first element, but if it had something, some objects in the array, then it would have added at the end of it. So now we'll have to do what? We'll have to declare the inventory array and push uh, new weapon as the, so new weapon is a variable, so we'll can just push it here. Yes, it works. Now the new weapon has a stick and a dagger. So up until now, anytime text.innerText was updated. Um, so the old text was erased. So anytime we used to update the text.innerText, yes, the old text was to erased. This time we use the plus equals operator to add text to the end of the text.innerText. Add the string. In your inventory you have include the spaces at the beginning and end. Okay, so we are to put text dot inner text plus equals this string, and we can just copy it. What it does is now we have a this thing added to the inner text. If I go to store, buy weapon, you have a dragon, you have a dagger, go to town, this says we'll see where it uh, works. Oh, welcome to dragon. At the end of the second text.innerText string is added at the end of the second text.innerText string. Yes, we just added. Use the concatenation operator to add the contents of inventory to the string. So we'll just use a plus sign. Inventory is an array. Mm, this work. Yes, it is. Add an else statement to your buy weapon function. So we'll just write else here. In that statement, set text.innerText equal to you do not have enough gold to buy weapon. Yes, when the gold is no less than 30, basically. We've copied this. We'll put text dot inner text equals. We had If I go to store now, try to buy weapons, one now you have dagger. In your inventory you have stick and a dagger. If I click again, it will say you do not have enough gold to buy a weapon, which is the else statement. Previously it was not getting executed, now it does. Once a player has the best weapon, they cannot buy another one. Yes, so wrap all of your code in your buy weapon function inside another if statement. So we have to write if the entire thing, and then we go next line and say if completed. This if has a condition. The condition should check if current weapon index is less than. So we have a condition here. The condition is if your current weapon index is less than 3. If I see current weapon index, we have this one, let current weapon index equal to 0. So we also have to update the current weapon index, right? Let's check. Arrays have a length property that returns the number of items in the array. Yes. So you may want to add new values to the weapons array in the future. Change your if condition to check if current weapon index is less than the length of the weapons array. An example of checking the length of an array would be myArray.length. So all you have to do is if equals weapons array. So weapons dot length. Now it's time to set your buy weapon function. Right now the gold amount is set to 50. Yes, but to properly see the results of your buy weapon function, the amount should be set to something higher. So update the gold amount to 250. The HTML has already been updated to reflect this change. To test your weapon function, open the console, then click on go to store. So we have to open the console, then click on go to store button, followed by weapon 30 4 times. So we have to open the store, go, then we buy weapon function 4 times. 1. You now have a dagger in your inventory. You have stick dagger. Second time, you now have stick dagger claw hammer. Third time, we have stick dagger claw hammer sword. And the fourth time, it would say uncaught type error, cannot read properties of undefined reading name. That's what it says. When you are testing a function, you should have seen an error message in the console. The error is due to the condition in the weapon function. The current weapon index variable is the index of the weapons array, but array indexing starts at 0. the index of the last element in an array is 1 less than the length of the array. To change the if condition, to check if it is -1 of the length. Yes, because we're starting from current weapon index which is set to 0. It should have been uh, -1. But if that is the case, then we can't start the game with stick uh, as a default weapon. We wouldn't have any weapon then. So test out your weapon function again to see the error disappear. So now if I open the console, go to store, first we buy the dagger, then we buy the claw hammer, then the sword. Now if I keep clicking on it, there is no error, but we can't buy no more. But I think there should be a inner text which says that's the best weapon that you can have. You already have the sword. That's the best weapon you can have. Something like that. If a player has purchased all of the weapons in the inventory, the player should not be able to purchase any more, and a message should be displayed. Yes, that's exactly what I said. So add an else statement to your if outer if statement. Inside this new else statement, set the so all I have to do is this is the outer if statement by the way. So here we can set an else, set the text. That is exactly what I said that it should have a text dot inner text. You have to set you already have the most powerful weapon. So now if I go to the console or to store, I think console won't be needed now. We have the dagger, we buy the claw hammer, we buy the sword. If I click again, it says you already have the most powerful weapon. So there is no need for console. Console does not print nothing. Now that you are finished testing that portion of the buy weapon function, you can set your gold variable back to 50. Yes. Where we can earn the gold by fighting demons and dragons. The HTML already been updated to reflect the original value of the code. Nothing much here. We are on step 101 and done 57-58% of the project. So once a player has the most powerful weapon, you can give them the ability to sell their old weapons. Okay. In the outer else statement, set button 2 in a text to sell weapon for 15 gold. So we should have the button 2 inner text as sell weapon for 15 gold. Also set button to on click to the function name sell weapon. We have to set button 2 on click should trigger the function sell weapon. I now go to the store, buy weapon. Oh, we don't have enough gold now to change the goals. It's a long process. We'll do it later. Create an empty cell weapon function. So we are to create an empty cell weapon function. We'll do function cell weapon. Uh, Player should not be able to sell their only weapon inside the sell weapon function. Add an if statement. If condition that checks if the length of the inventory, so inventory dot length array is greater than 1. So if it is greater than 1, then we have a this. Inside the if statement, set gold equals 15. More than its current value. Also update gold text inner text to the new value. So you can just go here, gold text dot inner text, new value would be 15. The next step is to create a variable called current weapon. So example code is let the variable equals 1. Then if the variable is really equals 1, then let the variable equals 2. Console log the 2. Then we have console log the number. Expect output is 1. Because the global variable is set to 1. Yeah. We use the let keyword to set a variable called current weapon. Don't assign it a value. I don't think this example is suits here. It's just too complicated because the variable declaration can be just by done by name. Here there's a if condition, global variable, uh, and whatnot, whatever. So we are not creating a global variable, right? We are creating a variable inside the if function. So current weapon, don't assign it any value. We are to create let current weapon. We haven't. In the previous projects, you learned how to work with the shift method to remove the first element from an array like this. So from here we have a array with 3 elements in it. Now if we declare a first element array, it is now equals my array shift. So the first element have been removed. We have the second and third. It's like the opposite of no, opposite of unshift, I guess. Yeah, unshift. Yeah, because push will put it at the end, unshift will put it at the first. So this is opposite of unshift, I guess. Well, to take the first element from the inventory array and assign it to your current weapon variable. So we have to put the current weapon and the shift method. We have to put the inventory dot shift. Okay, well, you know what? I'll just stop my stream right here, and we will be back very soon after lunch, and we'll continue from here. We are not left too much, almost 60% done. So we'll be doing the leftover 40%. Till then, uh, stay safe and keep learning.